All right, testing 1, 2. I do apologize. That was not going as planned, but I'll get into a little bit more detail with that here in just a minute. But what happened was I was redoing the studio today, and we just got what's called a new backup UPS. That's a universal power supply. So when the power does flicker, the computers don't go offline. I plugged all the computers into the wrong side of the UPS. Therefore, it wasn't on the backup side. So the computers did very, very quickly shut off when the power went down. So, whew, muy ve. I apologize. But let's come back here. We are now watching this once again as we are watching this area. Very gusty winds ongoing here through Bel Air. We still have winds upwards of 40 miles an hour. So, like I said, I do apologize about that quick, abrupt end to the live stream. That was because my computer shut off when the power flickered and the generator did not kick on because it takes 10 seconds. It's a long story. Anyways, this severe weather, like I said, is very quickly making an approach off to the eastern, the Chesapeake Bay. Like we said, I think it'll be out of here by 8:05, 8:10. Another 10 or so more minutes before this is done, and we should be good to go. But watching this here, if we put this in play here over the past 10 to 15 minutes, you can see how it has that easterly track here, and it's kept that easterly track here really quickly. You can see that the velocity scans are still very impressive of upwards to 40, 45, about 45 mile an hour, still up in Harford County. And yeah, this is through Cresswell, Riverside, Perryman, Aberdeen Proving Ground area. You guys are in this. There's no rotation. That is a good thing, meaning that we don't have winds changing with height or winds interlocking or changing together. We don't have that. We just have very gusty winds, possibly some straight line wind damage in Aberdeen, Perryman, Abingdon, Riverside, Constant Friendship too. That's another area we are going to quickly we will be quickly monitoring here. So let me take this off here real quick and just show you what we have here really quickly. So you can see these storms are still very quickly moving. Winds like I said here in this this lighter red area. Those are winds upwards to 50 and 60 mile an hour. So that is what we currently have ongoing. So, I mean, Perry Hall area, you guys are still getting in. You guys are actually starting to come to an end of this. Dundalk, just some heavy rain, but the majority of this severe weather now has now been isolated to this circle. So if I switch back here really quickly, give me just a quick second here. If you are in this circle, which will get ready to go on to the Chesapeake Bay, that is where we have the most intense severe weather at this current time. That is where I see the best chance for severe weather. It's going to be right along this line if you're in this line. But like I said, winds still upwards of 40 mile an hour. So definitely, if you are in what I'm going to call southern Harford County, southeastern Harford County part, let's put it this way, if you're west of Aberdeen Proving Grounds, and you are east of Bel Air, right somewhere in this box range I'll draw. This is where we have winds upwards to 50 miles an hour. So that's where you can have some straight line damaging winds. This must be the cold front moving in. Yes and no, Justin, to answer your question. Let me see the surface analysis. So this is the latest map from the Weather Prediction Center. So yes, it is the cold front moving in. We have that stalled low pressure system right here. Actually, I can do this. I forgot I had this cool software. Give me a second. Latest analysis. So yeah, here is that stalled cold front right here with that low pressure up here. So we have what's called a trough coming through, or a dry line, or not so much a dry line, more of a trough coming through. And then high pressure associated down here to the south. So when you have high pressure to the south, that is just feeding warm southerly winds in, which is genuinely feeding these storms. So somebody asked me earlier, where is the storm getting its fuel? One, it's the instability, the convective available potential energy. Plus, we have this cold front. Now, with this cold front, it is tracking eastward, which is causing a forcing mechanism. I apologize there of that stutter. A forcing mechanism is what helps these storms grow in intensity and pretty much just explode once they go off. So, I mean, you could see these storms are kind of, popping off. Something else I want to really mention here is the amount of lightning. This is a lot of lightning for such a little storm. I mean, looking at this storm, actually, let me do a better track here. I can counter select this. We don't really. Let me see. We don't. Let's see. Do we have any? We might have a decent hail structure in this. Because we did have some dry air, meaning that there could be that dry air has now, caused some hail, but not really, because when we're thinking about hail and we're talking hail, typically that happens around the 30,000 feet. I mean, if it kind of is in line with that 20,000 feet, it's just below it. I'm going to go about 15, 20, 10, 15,000 feet. So, it's not as impressive, but those winds are still very, very gusty with this right now. Looking at this one just outside the bay, you can see decent hail. So, I mean, I would not at all be surprised. We actually can look at the hail tracker here. Yeah, like I said, right over Edgemere, at least an inch in diameter hail, and maybe right even over the Chesapeake Bay, an inch in diameter hail. But actually might be some right over where my friend lives there in Chase. So it's something we're going to watch. But like I said, the bulk of the severe weather is now starting to move onto the Chesapeake Bay, meaning anywhere on land you do look a little bit clearer besides Harford County, because you guys have that extent. You guys have that kind of you guys have the hangover here with the southern part. But like I said, the main line of this severe weather is starting to move onto the Chesapeake Bay. So that is a decent thing. So I guess I'll just kind of go by this. So Darlington, Poplar Grove, Poole, you guys have that storm track going southeast around 15 miles an hour. So it'll get to Bayside Village or Aberdeen Proving Ground around 8:45. Then you have that one cell by Constant Friendship. That is still moving. That'll move offshore around 8:30. So you guys got about another 24 to 22, 23 minutes left on that. This one cell down here in Edgemere, that has about another 10, give me a minute, 12, 13 minutes on it. Doing rough math here real quick. Yeah, about another 12, 13, 14 minutes on that. But like I said, the majority of this heavy rain has already moved offshore onto the Chesapeake Bay. Kim, my Aunt Kim said you're the bomb, kiddo. Justin said this must be the cold front. Yep, we already talked about the cold front. Like I said, the cold front definitely does have a forcing mechanism in it, so it is something. And Stacy Clark said insane here. Lotham has thunder and heavy rain. Yeah. You guys are just outside of Sudley. You guys are down in Anne Arundel County. Yeah, Anne Arundel County, you guys have about another 2 hours of this, honestly. Because you guys have the extent of everything coming out of Virginia. Yeah, you guys have that. You guys have all this yet to get through. So you guys will have some more down there in Anne Arundel County, Alice. Sky looked really weird before the storms hit. Stacy said Pleasant Hills. You guys are up in here. Yeah, Pleasant Hills. You guys are right along State Route 1, Bel Air Road. You guys are actually coming to the end of the heavy rain in Pleasant Hills there, Stacy. Mark said incredible lightning show in Dundalk. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we do I like to do this a lot. Let's do this. We can go here and look at the cameras. Let's see if we can get a decent lightning show out of this. Yeah, you can see the lightning is lighting up the show. This is Route 40, if you guys know US Route 40 at Maryland 132. So this is looking southwest. This actually is looking into the storm, into the core of the storm there. So yeah, you guys got a decent camera there. Let's see. There's one more here in Abingdon. See, this is looking Maryland 24 at 924. This is looking northeast. So this actually would be looking up into the storms up north, which I want a camera looking south. South or southeast would be best. Let me see. I know there's a lot here. Let's see about this one. Then there's some of them that are down. That's 152. It's not going to be long 152. Why are all the cameras that I need down? Okay. That's unfortunate. A lot of the cameras that actually look good into this storm are down. This is going to be the best one. This is I-95 out of Maryland 22. This is actually looking into the storm there, which is looking into the storm through Magnolia and Aberdeen. Let's actually see if there's one in Harford County that we could look into that cell, or Cecil County, that is. See if there's one in Cecil County that we could look into the cell around cholera. Let's see if we can look into cholera. Here's the Condowingo. You see US 1 at the Condowingo. So this is 40 taking out to the Condowingo, the Condowingo Dam Bridge right there. You can see a lot of lightning actually lighting up that. You can see the flashes. Cameras aren't as useful during the nighttime. The only thing they're really useful for is seeing power flashes. Let's see. This looks. It's kind of blocked by trees. Here's a good one. I-95 south of Maryland 155. Stacy said, wow, 2 more hours. Yeah, 2 more hours of that storm down there in Anne Arundel County. Keith said, good evening to you, Tanner. Thank you for the Sunday evening update. You're welcome, Keith. This isn't how our Sundays. By the way, if anybody is listening, or actually, there's a lot of people listening. To everybody listening, thank goodness, sky is yellow. Yeah. But to everybody listening, Sunday nights, 7 o'clock here on the TMC Weather Channel, we do a weekly walkthrough of what to expect for the weather for the week. As far as if it's just sunny, we'll kind of highlight how temperatures will be, the comfort scale. But it's every week, Sunday, here on the TMC Weather Channel at 7 o'clock every week. Typically, I try to do it every week. But, of course, tonight, severe weather kind of took over, so I wasn't as fortunate to get to do it tonight with the severe weather. Wow! Look at that! You saw that lightning strike. So like I said, every Sunday of the week at 7 o'clock, I planned it at 7, so it doesn't interfere with the Ravens schedule. But 7 o'clock here on Sundays, every week, we do a live to highlight the severe weather. So that's what we do. Somebody just asked a really, really good question. They said, why do the skies turn yellow when severe weather comes through? That is a really good question. Great question there, Phil. So the skies turn yellow for a couple reasons. It's 4 reasons typically. One, it can be sunlight scattering. Normally the sky looks blue because the molecules in the atmosphere scatter wavelength. which is a blue-violet color. But during storms, the clouds thicken up in heavy rain, scatter. Wow, you just saw that on that camera. Sorry to get off that. But like I was saying, during storms, the clouds thicken up, bringing the heavy scattered light differently. So most of the blue light gets filtered out, which is going to leave wavelengths of red, orange, and yellow more visible, which gives it that yellow tint. Something else is going to be the time of day. So typically this effect is the strongest if it's with morning storms during sunrise or sunset when the sun is low. So, I mean, considering we're running right into around sunset time, 8:30, 8:45 or so, that's why we have that yellow sky. Could be. And if a severe storm is in the area at the time, the combination of storm clouds, low angles of the sun make the sky glow yellow or even greenish at times. Uh, so that is what we have. So let's come back here and watch this. So a majority of this severe weather is now moved off onto the Chesapeake Bay, except Harford County. You guys still have about another, I'm going to say you guys have another, let's go for Aberdeen. You guys have about another half hour or so, half hour to 45 minutes with this severe weather. So that is what we got. Cindy said, I think we're getting ready to get hit in Northeast Cecil County. Yeah, Northeast, you guys are like right in front of this storm. In Northeast, you guys are getting ready to get this. And Jenny said, just got back on and it's loud thunder, rain, and lightning is serious. APG area. Yeah, yeah. Very, like I said, I mentioned the lightning here. So the brighter yellow or white lightning strikes, those are the ones that are most recent. The like opacity lower ones, those are the ones that have that are like 5 to 10 minutes old. So yeah, a lot of lightning, a lot of lightning. Yeah, look at that. The weather station up there got a dew point or an air temperature of 74, a dew point of 74. That air is saturated. Absolutely, Cindy. Thank you. Somebody just said, "What does it mean when the air temperature and dew point temperature are the same during severe weather?" So when the air temperature and dew point temperature are the same anytime, it doesn't matter. That means the atmosphere is at its 100% relative humidity, meaning it is like miserable. Like it's just disgusting. That means the air is fully saturated with moisture, whether that be rain, just moisture in general. So it has several impacts. Like I said, that could be saturated air, which could equal clouds and fog. Um, it can be obviously visibility. So when temperatures and dew points pretty much are the same or are equal in severe weather, it means the air is really saturated and stronger, heavier rain can happen, and the risk for low cloud bases can also happen. So that's pretty much what that means there. So really quickly to anybody that's watching, if you are back here in this squiggly line, let's actually do this. If you guys are back here in this squiggly line, you guys are good. So the severe weather threat is over for you tonight. If you are in front or underneath of that, expect it. And of course, if you guys have any questions, be sure to put them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has. That's why I'm here. Somebody said, how's my area looking in Aberdeen Proving Grounds? Aberdeen Proving Grounds, heavy rain, some lightning, thunder, gusty winds. That'll continue for about another, let me see here. Let's do this. You guys got about another 25 minutes. Sorry, about another 45 minutes. I said 25. Yeah, about another 45 minutes left on that in Aberdeen Proving Grounds. Yeah, very loud in Abingdon. Somebody said very loud storms rolling through Abingdon. All right, I'm gonna throw on some just quiet music to help with severe weather. All right, just a little heads up real quick. I'll be here. I'm just gonna mute my mic, let this run. So I'll be back in about 15 minutes for your next update.
Are you here for Tracy?
We're here. Just got an update from the National Weather Service. We had a buoy report from Marine of winds over 45 miles an hour in Seneca Creek, and another one of 40 miles an hour in Sioux Creek in Bowley's Quarters area. All right, I'm back. Let me go ahead and fade this out. Let me do this real quick. All right. All right, I'm back here with the update real quick. Here's what we currently have ongoing here. Still watching these storms move on to the eastern shore now. They're going to be moving here into Kent and Queen Anne's County here relatively soon. I do think they are going to actually start to lose some energy as they go over the bay, but they are relatively moving on to Kent and Queen Anne's rather soon. So Harford County, Bel Air, Aberdeen, Proving Ground, Edgewood. Now getting into Cecil County. You guys just have heavy rain, some lightning, thunder, wind at times. And then down here in central Anne Arundel County, we'll call it. It's actually more southern. Central and southern Anne Arundel County. You guys have heavy rain, maybe some lightning and thunder and gusty winds, but nothing crazy at this current moment in time. But yeah, a majority of the severe weather now is over the Chesapeake Bay and with the cooler water, because you have to remember there's a land gradient. The water is a lot warmer or a lot cooler than the land, because land heats up warmer than water, and with land being warmer than water, that means water cools quicker than land, especially during the night. Because when the water doesn't get as warm, that means that when the water doesn't get as warm, that means it can cool off quicker. Because the little bit of warm that it did warm through the day doesn't have much to lose. While land, it warmed up a lot, so it has a lot to cool down overnight with those. With relief, I guess you could call it. But the water doesn't have much relief because it doesn't get as warm, because water doesn't heat or warm as quickly. That's that. Let's see, anybody have any comments or questions? Somebody said, how much longer till this is all wrapped up? This should all be done, wrapped up, and out of here by midnight. That's what I'm expecting. Around midnight is when this all should be done. Yep, midnight or so. Possibly sooner, but around midnight. All right, that's that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw that timer back up for 15 more minutes or so. And of course, keep tuned here to the TMC Weather Channel for more.
Who's coming in the driveway?
My daughter is being treated for leukemia. I hope that she lives a long, great, happy life, and that she will never forget how Mom and Daddy love her. St. Jude, this is what's keeping my baby girl alive.
You can join the battle to save lives by supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. For just $19 a month, you'll help us continue the life-saving research and treatment these kids need now and in the future.
They took care of our baby. I have so much gratitude for St. Jude.
when your kid is hurting and there's nothing you can do about it, that's the worst feeling in the world.
1 in 5 children diagnosed with cancer in the U.S. will not survive.
Those that donate to St. Jude, I hope that you will continue to give. They have done so much for me and my family.
Join with your debit or credit card now and we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt that you can proudly wear.
Están salvando vidas. Y la vida de mi hija es una de ellas.
You ready to go have some fun?
When we came here, we didn't know what tomorrow would hold. St. Jude showed us that tomorrow there's hope for our little girl to survive.
Let's cure childhood cancer together. Please donate now.
When you write, your tone influences how readers respond. With Grammarly, just highlight your text and type how you want to sound. Get your message right every time. Download it for free at Grammarly.com.
All right, I'm back here really quickly with a update. Storms have start to move onto the eastern shore now. We still have some very intense heavy rain right now over Harford County and Cecil County, but a majority of the severe weather has now moved on to Kent County. Queen Anne's County has now crossed or is starting to cross the Chesapeake Bay out of Anne Arundel County into Queen Anne's County. And then we have some heavy rain in southern Anne Arundel County, PG County, St. Mary's County. But like I said, for central Maryland and south central Pennsylvania, some light rain out there in Gettysburg, New Oxford, Hampton, Biglerville, Bendersville, if you guys are out there. And then for my friends in York County, quiet. Adams County has some light rain showers ongoing. But let's stop this here really quick. The main severe weather right now, as you can see, let's try that again. The dark reds, pinks, purples, yellows, all of that is either over the Chesapeake Bay or right now over Kent and Queen Anne's County. Either way, the severe weather is starting to come down to an end. Some heavy rain will continue for the eastern shore as it pushes through Delmarva, the Delmarva Peninsula, Delaware. That's where it'll go from here. So, like I said, I expect this event to all be wrapped up by 10, 11 o'clock, midnight, the latest. So, with that being said, since there's no more severe weather threat over Central Maryland, I'm going to go ahead and end our live coverage here. If you go ahead and check out our 24/7 streaming channel over at our website, tmcweather.org, or you can go over to our YouTube channel, TMC Weather. That is another great place to check it out, but you can check it out here if it loads. There you go, right there. There's our TMC Weather channel with our live radar here, current conditions, and 7-day forecast, and more to come. But as of right now, with that being said, our severe weather coverage is going to come to an end here. We appreciate you for joining us. Hey, don't forget to check out our radar tab on the 24 or on our severe or on our website. I apologize. I can't talk tonight. And it's got all the latest for your counties and everywhere in between, current conditions, future radar, weather alerts, and everything you need to know. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and end our coverage here. We appreciate you for joining us. And, of course, keep you here to the TMC Weather channel. Thank you for all your support and everything. And, of course, we will be here every step of the way to keep you informed. And we'll continue to have radar posts throughout the night to keep you informed of what is still happening. But in the meantime, everybody, I'm Tanner Zero. Have a great night and stay tuned.
When it comes to